2020 PBA Hall of Fame Classic, the next long-distance players perspective. I'm Jeff Goodger, joined by title match players Darren Tang and Tommy Jones. And Darren, you were the leader in this tournament, waiting in the title match to find out who you get to bowl. And the reason you're leading is you shot 246 in position round, which you jumped over a bunch of players, including Tommy, to get that top seed. But also the game before that, 300. And then earlier in that same block, 300. You bowled two 300 games in the final block of qualifying. What do you remember about that final round that had you bowling so well to get to that top seed?
Well, you also can't forget to mention about 150 in that block. So there were some ups and downs, but it was just one of those days where I went to autopilot and I was really able to focus on my process, whatever I was doing. I did a pretty good job of blocking out the scoreboard where I was standing, and I just played the game.
Tommy, you kind of had a lot going on this weekend as well. Inducted into the Hall of Fame the night before. This was potentially your 20th title. You just beat Chris Barnes, who was also at 19 titles at that time. And I know you and I talked afterward that you had separated the magnitude of this moment from the actual competition somehow. So how were you able to do that, keep those two things separate?
Well, I mean, I knew coming into the week that no matter what happened, if I had finished dead last, it was going to be, a week that I'll never forget. My family was going to be there, so we were going to get to, enjoy the Hall of Fame moment. My sponsor who had sponsored me pretty much put me on tour and sponsored me for 10, 12 years on tour was going to be there. So I had some friends coming in. So it was already a great weekend for me. And then everything else was just icing on the cake, snuck into match play. I was, 14th seed to qualify for match play. We took 14 that week. So, being able to have extended play was a bonus. And then, chips kind of fell into place. And then at the same time, when Darren's having this really good block minus the one game, I'm shooting spares like I've never bowled before. I missed 7 single pins in the last round of match play. It was terrible. And, Darren led, but unfortunately for Darren, if he's qualified second, he probably wins because there's no way. I mean, I was completely lost. The ball that I used on the right lane, I didn't use all week. So I used it one shot against Barnes, and, kind of just everything just kind of fell into place. Yeah, I pretty much knew Darren was going to make me finish on the right lane because obviously I was completely lost. I only threw one strike on it. So, he pays attention. He's a very smart bowler and knew to make me finish on that lane.
I actually didn't make the decision. The ball reps just told the TV crew, whatever, where I was going to start.
Yeah, well, they've been around a lot. Know that somebody's lost in a lane that you make them finish on that lane.
Yeah.
I was more just excited there because of the fact that I didn't make but one good shot the game before, and I actually started the match off with a good shot there. So
it's funny because everyone keeps telling me that, oh yeah, Tommy was trying to give you the business early, and I was like, I sat there for however many frames. I didn't watch really any of your shots until the 9th one because I figured it was pretty much over by then. But.
Yeah, no, I don't ever think about it that way about like trying to give anybody the business or anything. It just comes out kind of natural, and it comes out when, I guess I didn't bowl a very good game, and the adrenaline of knowing that I didn't bowl a good game and got through started to kind of come through about what could possibly happen.
Yeah, I thought to be honest, I thought I aced this one. And,
I'm still convinced that you bowled a better game. I got away with two shots. The one I get away with in the second is probably the one that I obviously can't say did you in that early, but the fact that because what a lot of people don't realize is that when you're coming into these matches, you got to scuff your balls, and then you still got a practice shot to get it in. Well, I can scuff my ball in between blocks, but I can't throw it anymore. So therefore, on the right lane, I'm getting ready to scuff this urethane ball with 500, and then I got to move one or two in case it hooks more. And that you already kind of tamed yours down that one shot, and a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, I actually don't remember if we scuffed anything before the match, especially for the left lane. I'd probably assume that we did for the right, just to make sure it picked up if I missed left. But at this point, I was still feeling pretty good. I had my moves in my head. And
I would be feeling pretty good too if you just watched the game I bowled before. It was not very pretty, and you know, I watched your practice shots, and I think I told Wolf and Chuck Gardner, I was like, we're gonna need a little help here.
yeah, I can't lie. I was feeling pretty good.
You should have been, for sure. But this one, I just scuffed this ball, so I move a couple farther left, and it kind of gets by it, and I get a little bit of a break with the crumbler, the GSX crumbler there. Still a little amped up too. The left lane was, even all week in qualifying, the left lane was pretty easy. The right lane wasn't hard, but it just kind of the way it transitioned. If you follow people, the move it's so hard to move left and throw urethane slower because it wants to hook earlier. But that was kind of the move.
Yeah. So I felt like no matter what happened to the lanes, I was going to do the same thing. I felt like my ball speed gave me a pretty big advantage because I like to throw it slow.
Mm-hmm.
So if I needed a gear down, I still had 1 or 2 more gears to go down if I had to throw it slower.
Yeah. Yep. That's for sure. It was, you bowled a really good game. The one shot you get that same little wiggle spot that we had on the right lane the match before, where you left the 2-4-5, but other than that, your ball was running right through them. You should have had the front 6 or 7 too. Front 6, I guess.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky on this one though. I I hammered the hell out of this one for me.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I remember seeing that one. Okay, so now maybe I only lost by like 15 in actual scoring. Okay. But either way, it's GSX bowling. We all know how many times we've 7-10'd on GSXs and how many times we've got these kind of hits that we don't expect to strike and they do strike.
This young man can bowl. I've seen it time and time again. He doesn't look like a whole lot as you look at him.
I was pretty confident you weren't missing on the right lane very much.
That was actually my only concern was the right lane, making sure I got it to the friction early enough. And the left lane, I felt fine.
Yeah.
Especially when I made that move, I just got a little steeper with it. And seeing it hook back and get through the pins as hard as it did, I felt pretty comfortable on the left because all week I was trying to play the hole, play the shim, just to make sure I was staying in the pocket the whole time. If I missed, it was really bad because I just tried to overhit it, hit up on it early, and threw it over my left toe. But other than that, I was trying to stay away from throwing it right.
Yeah, like I said, I used this ball maybe 5-6 shots the whole week, other than like a little bit in practice. It wasn't the one that I thought hooked more. And since then, it still hasn't hooked more. So I don't know if it was just, the fresher cover that day or what.
Is that one drilled? Is it drilled weaker?
It's drilled. It's like a super high pin. It's not necessarily weaker, but it's just super high pin. It doesn't have a hole. And with how hard I like to throw it, I need the holes. So that's kind of something that, for me, I try to always use in urethane balls, which obviously we're about to change. So I'm going to have to reevaluate some ball speed things here. But
I get some of that early timing.
Yeah, you might know a little bit about that. It was cool that my mom, daughter, and Danielle were there because they just never been to. My child's only sat on one other show, and my mom had never been to a show. So it was just kind of one of those things that everything is fun. So it's neat. I know my mom enjoyed sitting around talking to your mom, and you know how moms get. They're only rooting for one person, but they they appreciate what all we have to go through to do what we love to do.
That's crazy to think this was your mom's first live show.
Yep, first live show. Because everywhere else we bowled that I made shows, the closest was Atlanta. We had a snowstorm that week. It was Super Bowl weekend, and we had a snowstorm, so they didn't drive down. We bowled in Spartanburg one time, and that's about 30 minutes from me, and I just I finished 6th. 5 lefties made the show.
So you pretty much won.
Yeah.
You won the right side.
I won the right side. So, but I'm definitely starting to realize here that your ball reaction is pretty good, and that I'm going to need to keep making some pretty good shots here. I did appreciate this right here when you kind of give me the business back here.
I think it would have worked out well if we had the commercial break, because it would have given me some more time to kind of come back down to neutral. But yeah, I just didn't come back down soon enough for the next shot.
Everybody bowls differently. Like I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, for me, it sometimes helps me when I try to be even kill. Sometimes I get a little lackadaisical and get everything not so aggressive. But you know, I do appreciate it because I bowled the Weber Cup and love bowling in Maine. When people get fired up, it always gets me a little fired up. And you know, sometimes I don't know what's coming back the next time, but I think here I just kind of give you the not today, Junior.
Not against me. I mean, it really was. It was. You know how it is.
It's
I
very.
don't know how to explain it.
No, I don't either. I've tried many times and to think about it, and I'm not sure that it's just fairy tale issue thing. I've had more than one person involved in sports send me a text or a tweet or something and say that it's one of the best things that they've ever seen in sports, which is pretty cool. And, I didn't think about it at the same time. And I don't watch very many shows that I bowled on or wins or anything like that. But I will say that anytime this comes across my feed, I do typically watch it just because it's pretty cool.
You don't see something like this happen every day. Not with that kind of weekend, at least.
That's for sure. It's just, like I said, the missing of the spares. I consider myself to be a pretty good spare shooter, and I missed. It was 6 or 7 single pins in the night before, and I think you led by like 30 pins. And if I just make 3 of them, if I go 50% at them, I lead, and then I don't end up winning because I would have continued to try to use the other ball for sure. Because that's what I used the whole week. The only reason I changed against Chris was because there was no other option.
We don't know that. You still might have won.
Okay, I appreciate the good thoughts, but
I wouldn't put it past you. I think you're one of the best bowlers I've ever seen. So
I appreciate it, but I don't know about all that. There's a lot of pretty good ones. This is the one that I think you just get just a little quick and.
I missed it. I got it left. My heart was still racing after that last frame. Yeah, I knew it was pretty bad off my hand. But yeah, kind of at this point, I was like, if he doesn't miss in the next shot or two, I'm getting ready to get out of the way.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that. We want these urethane balls to hook early, and we get them left, and they go that much straighter.
Yeah.
With that much surface. But people, a lot of people think you got to have tons and tons of rev rate to use these urethane balls, and you really don't. Because your rev rate's enough, but it's not like super high, and you're one of the best urethane bowlers I've seen. You figured out a way to get your ball to tumble. Doesn't seem to hook early, but continue to make it down lane. You can get all the way into sliding like 24, 25 with it, get it up against the shim, but still get it to blend the dry, which some of the higher rev guys have a hard time doing with the urethane. They just end up doing it with speed, moving farther right.
Better pass code, Darren. Come on, man.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing I'm missing, is the moving right, throwing it harder.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it just takes you got to have an eye for it and just. I can't really explain that either.
I think a lot of it comes from, we bowled Team USA and all those stuff, and they were the ones that first started having us use them. And we were using the ones not like the pitch black and the purple hammer and the U-motion that hook down lane. These were the older ones that they were just pretty much up against it, and you had to see it pick up and start and just kind of hook early, and you didn't like it.
I'll hear about it either way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Look,
They do have 2.
I've got 4 kids, and on my best
Yeah, I
day,
think it was after this shot. I was pretty much convinced.
Oh, no, you're
Yep.
not going there now.
Another day.
Yeah, I was starting to.
turn to page 11 for a reason.
I was definitely starting to feel a little bit. That was my version of your previous one, where I got it in a little bit, didn't catch it all. I knew I got away with one there. Fortunately, I didn't. I just didn't gas it a little bit.
Staring at page 11.
So now I'm trying to calm everything down because I know this is pretty much to win, and that's what we're there for.
Last time in Vegas, 2016. Oh, guy. Francois.
How much did the 300 matter to you? Like going into the 10th?
Candyman, Sean.
It didn't really, to be honest. I mean, it was something that it was just going to make it that much better, but you can tell how much more emotions comes out on this shot opposed to the when bowl 300.
Yeah, for sure. I get that question a lot. People ask, would you rather bowl a high score and lose or bowl 150 and win? And I feel like all of us have the same answer out on tour.
Yeah, we just want to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just want to win. I mean, if we would have bowled 203 to 202, it would have been very special to me as well. So,
and people tell me, at least you didn't lose by 1 or 2, and I'm sitting here thinking, a loss is a loss. It doesn't make a difference.
1 or 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 or 50, it's all the same. But I did get pretty lucky here because after this, I look over to the right and DJ, and they were telling me to calm down, and the good, obviously bowling for somebody that respects the game the way you do and whatever, you get up there and just try to get out of the way, which is always appreciated, especially in moments like this. I'm just trying to calm everything down and realize what's going on.
The tough right lane. You've seen
Free roll of history, right?
Yep.
last game.
Yeah, I think I would definitely appreciate this moment a lot more if I wasn't on the other end of it.
I understand that. So crazy how hot it is in there. My hands felt like they had ice in them.
It's like all the blood just rushes somewhere else and doesn't want to help you get the job done.
Yeah, adrenaline is a crazy thing.
Pick up the pace a little bit. Bull, you've already
With the GSX hit right there where you 710 and then you knock it out.
I was almost hoping they would just stand.
Yeah.
There's one less shot for me to throw.
Of course, the moms are standing up, appreciating, in the back of our head, we both, if we're in that situation, just want to be like, okay, just
can I go home now?
Just get one more shot, get this over.
What did we not have?
300 game.
Thought you might say that.
If we'd have bowled 12 frames in the left lane, I can't win.
I don't know. Might have left that 710 1 or 2 times.
In the meantime, get on the phone. Get on
You didn't have much reason to put all the effort into that first one at the 10th, and still got there.
A potential 300 game brewing and in a title match to boot. That is a wonderful performance.
Just a really good game. One shot.
More in the coming weeks, but we're gonna close the book on Darren right now.
He would have won by 40 the last game. 40.
Then you get the announcers just rub it in. He'd won by 40 the game before.
Yeah. It's a good thing we couldn't really hear him that well. I can't lie. The whole match, I wasn't really hearing a whole lot. I was like, that's the most locked in I think I've ever been on TV.
300 games
You
this week.
that week and the next week you bowled really good. Even you could just see your focus and everything was different than normal. Everybody that knows you knows you're happy-go-lucky kind of guy and you have fun and you take things serious, but you kind of get out of that every little bit. I can walk up and tell you a joke and you can kind of come out of it, and sometimes it might take you a minute to get back into it. But that week and the next weekend, Shawnee, everything was completely focused in.
I think I had a little bit of motivation, not bowling too good at team trials a couple weeks earlier, and really feeling like I let it go. I think that was kind of a wake-up call.
Well, you have that factor that not everybody has, where they can turn that on themselves and kind of do it, and basically know that it was on them and change the outcome. This is kind of the shot where I pretty much knew that it was kind of one of those things. I look over to Albie, and I told Mike Albie right there, I said, it's on. And that was the only time that I really, unfortunately the camera's cut, but I went and gave everybody a 5 over there. And now I'm just going to take a re-rack and basically just know that I'm about to beat the holes out of this thing and hope it doesn't break loose.
Tommy Jones, just hours after being inducted into the PBA Hall of
Yeah, I didn't think it was possible for any of them to break loose, really.
This is true.
I almost had it happen, though.
with perfection.
That would have been the miss right quick, and because I knew I was going to maul it.
He already knows that hardware is going home to South Carolina.
That's pretty sweet, though. You dead laced all 3 of those.
They were pretty good, to say the least. Surprisingly, we watched the shows like McCormick, how he was shaking. I really wasn't like shaking that bad, but it was pretty good, and I think they were more excited. Whatever. I mean, I don't really know what to do, but I do know that I want to come and let you know that you're going to win soon and all this stuff, and now it just kind of hits me what's going on.
Anything that's spectacular.
Then I get to remind Chris I have 20. He doesn't.
You think he's going to catch back up?
Knowing Chris, he'll probably pass me at somehow. He'll Houdini like 2 in a row, and then I'll have to hear about it since I've given him so much crap. But I probably have a few more years on him.
The last shot. Get low and get on up.
I think he'll run past it by a good margin when it's all said and done. That's just my opinion, though. We'll see.
I hope you're correct, but when I came on tour, and Norman, those guys were 41 or whatever, they were in their prime. These guys were like, they were still every week. Now, all you young bucks you guys are pretty hard to beat. There's so many of you guys that have so much talent that came out on tour way ahead of the curve. 30's old now on tour.
I guess.
I don't feel old until I hang out and I'm like, Darren, how old are you? Out of 25.
Oh, come on, you cheated me a couple of years. Well, a little closer than that.
Yeah.
27 now.
Now. It means you had a birthday in like last month?
About a week ago.
There you go. See, exactly. So, but yeah, man, it's, I hate that you're on the other side of it, but it was very cool for me, very cool for my mom, very cool for my daughter, and, something that I'll always remember, and, you'll always be part of my everlasting, amazing memory.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I mean, it was awesome to. I mean, not really awesome at the time, but to look back, it was pretty cool to be a part of, and it's something special for sure.